coach plays. I'm with friend.
Trust me, watch this. This is worth it.
Stiff at all. This is our first ever interview in the kitchen. How is retirement treating you? You are now finished with football forever this time, right?
Forever this time. Yeah. It's fun. I'm really enjoying myself. Keeping myself busy. Already kind of started my next profession. It's challenging, but it's a fun kind of challenging. It's kind of like starting over. You know, it's like as a football player, you've been working on your craft, or for me, since I was in the 8th grade. And so it was a process of better and better and better. And when you're done playing football, to kind of go back to the drawing board and start over again, it's challenging, but it's fun. And it's fun, and I get to find out so much more about myself.
Articulate for us the worst football ever made you feel physically. The worst day where getting out of bed was just almost an impossibility.
Well, it was my rookie year. We was in New Orleans, and we were playing on that hard turf. And so I carried the ball like 40 times for, I think, 170 yards. And I got beat up pretty good. And that whole week, I couldn't practice until that next Saturday. My body was just in so much pain from taking a beating like that, especially on turf.
How many concussions do you think you had?
I have no idea. I mean, you know, I'm not a big fan of the way that the NFL is handling concussions. I mean, maybe I'm stupid or whatever, but to me, I got a concussion. Like, if I could see straight and I could carry a football, then I'm not telling anybody.
So you're not a fan of the way the NFL is handling it? How and why?
Well, because from what I've seen is they're all about prevention, but, I mean, can you prevent a concussion? I mean, yeah, you can definitely have safer helmets, and I think the safest helmet, you know, when I was playing, and I think, you know, you can definitely pay more attention, but ultimately it's about the players, and I think all this attention to prevention, but like it seems like they haven't done anything because they don't believe that they can actually treat a concussion.
Well, I don't think I'm understanding.
Okay, so like most of the work around concussions is like research to find out, okay, that 100% of football players have brain trauma, okay? Well, I don't want someone to tell me that, right?
You don't want somebody to tell you?
I don't want someone to tell me that because then if it's a doctor, most people will believe it. But for me, I don't buy it.
You don't buy that there's a link between football and concussions?
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
How can there not be a link?
Well, I'm only speaking from my personal experience, and because I've never allowed myself to buy it, I haven't been the effect of it. And yes, I'm aware that football is a rough sport, but instead of saying, oh, I'm doomed to like brain trauma, I said, well, what can I do about this? And I just started taking care of my body, and I found people, places, and things that really helped me. And I mean, again, I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years, but for me, I look at a bunch of other things that I've learned about and the way I see the world. And to me, it seems like, okay, yes, if we're going to spend 6 months, you know, brutalizing our bodies intensely, I said, well, that makes sense. Well, in the off season, I'm going to spend 6 months taking care of my body very intensely. And I started to equip myself with tools. And so I started practicing yoga. I started learning some hands-on healing stuff, and I just found really good chiropractors, really good massage therapists. And what I found is I've been able actually to peel off layers of trauma on my body and actually move better now than I did.
But what about the science? And the brain is kind of different, right? You have alternative methods of dealing with your body, and your body feels different. But the science suggests that with the brain, I mean, people a lot smarter than I am suggest that there is a link. That the science suggests there is a link.
Okay, so is science like the new like deity of our culture? It is, but should it be? I mean, if you look at science 100 years ago, if the things that they thought based on their science, we now show that they had no idea what they were talking about. And so I think as time goes on, the things that I've been saying are just going to be proven to be correct. But the way that football is looking at it now, it just creates, if you follow the trajectory, it just creates the end of football. And so, do we want football to die? I mean, I don't. And so, again, I just come back to the question of what else is possible.
I don't either, Ricky.
What if the NFL spent, that kind of energy and that kind of money of providing, like, better care, better health care for the players?
But you don't suffer any ill effects. You don't forget words. You don't have any memory lapses. You don't have any ill effects that you would assign to the thousands of hits you've taken over your career.
I do not. I do not. And 10 years from now, I might be completely like walking on the street, scratching my head and yelling out profanities. But right now, I mean, I feel fine. And I don't even feel a little bit of the effects of playing football.
How do you think the things that you're saying are being received right now? As people listen to you talk, the reaction you think is what?
Good question.
I think there's going to be different reactions. I think the people that kind of get what I'm saying and kind of had an idea that what I'm saying might work, I think they're going to, be curious and they're going to be interested. And the people that are more fixed in their points of views of things, they're going to, of course, have some resistance and some reaction to it. And they're going to think, what does he know? He's a bum. I can't wait for 10 years and he's not been around and he has brain damage and I hope he shoots himself in the chest.
Wow.
But football, you figure football's, do you think football's going to end? Do you think football's going to end in 20 years?
I mean, I can't see it happening, but history would say, like, nothing lasts forever.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want it to end because of this. I mean, I think one of the things that we love about playing football is it forces us to push our minds and our bodies beyond where most people would go. And I think, if you look at all the people who are really talking about the concussions and the effects that they're having, most of the people are people that never even played football. And what they're just saying is, I wouldn't want to be able to do that. I couldn't do that. I'd be afraid to do that. But us, warriors that go out on the field, I think, we have this ability to see what else is possible. And if we allow ourselves to take that further into healing our bodies and not just destroying our bodies, I think we'll create something completely different.
What percentage of the people watching do you think, just based on your life's experience with the media and with fame, what percentage of the people listening right now are saying Ricky's a crazy person?
Well, I think the 30 for 30 that Sean and I did, I think that helped change a lot of the way people saw me. So I think anyone who's seen that, they either know I'm crazy and so it's not a big deal, or they know that I'm not crazy. They're just seeing more of it. And people that haven't seen it, I'm sure a large percentage will say, they either say that guy's crazy or that guy's interesting. I mean, where I've come to now is I want to be in a place where I can't be defined. I was thinking about being undefined, and the word that people have used to describe something that's not definable is weird. And I even looked it up in the dictionary.
Good job, Ricky.
And so you found, so you prefer to weird, you prefer undefinable.
Well, I like weird now because I looked it up in the dictionary, and it's like a fate, destiny, it's supernatural, so...
All right, so weird is okay. So you'll wear weird.
I'll take it.
You'll wear it proudly.
Very proudly. I mean, I think if everyone were willing to be more weird, the world would be a completely different thing.
Be more interesting.
Much more interesting. Yeah.
What the hell were you doing here?
I was listening to the conversations. Very interesting. I learned a lot.